'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in a valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to grow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn, it'll be our delight, till by turning, we come out right. Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn, will be our delight, till by turning, we come out right.
Before we begin our service, let's take a moment to wave to the people watching from home, and then rise and greet our neighbors or say hello in the chat. When you hear the singing bowl ring, please return to your seats. I'd like to invite Maddie Bottomley and the children of the church forward to light the chalice. Thank you. Our first hymn is number 95 in the gray hymnal, There Is More Love Somewhere.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
Out to class. Sorry, let's listen to the story.
Hi guys, you did a nice job this morning, thank you. So we have a fun book today. It's a book that's called Giraffes Can't Dance. Okay, and when I'm reading it, I want you to think about Gerald, our giraffe. And I want you to think about what it is that Gerald needed. Okay, what did he need that was just a little different than everyone else?
Dancing.
We'll see, absolutely. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now, every year in Africa, they hold a jungle dance where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really, really bad. The warthogs started waltzing, and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did the cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and the 8 baboons then teamed up and did a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked towards the floor, But the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Gerald!" The animals all sneered. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird." Is that nice? No. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. "They're right," he thought. "I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot." So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He never felt so sad before, so sad, so alone. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. "The moon can be so beautiful," he whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me," coughed a cricket, who'd seen Gerald early on. "But sometimes, when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to." With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles in the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing round. What's he doing?
Dancing.
He's starting to dance, I think so. He threw his legs out sideways, then he swung them everywhere, and then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Can you imagine seeing a giraffe doing a somersault? I'd like to see that. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. "I am dancing! Yes, I'm dancing! I am dancing!" Gerald cried. Then one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen." "How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how." But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. "We all can dance," he said, "when we find music that we love." Okay. All right, we're going to head downstairs, guys. Will you take this downstairs for me?
I am Carol Willis, your worship associate for today. I want to extend a warm welcome this morning to our visitors, both here and watching online. We are happy to have you with us today. First Unitarian Church is a place where you can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, and your expansive heart. We are a community committed to social justice and to supporting the various spiritual and ethical paths of our members and friends. If you are visiting with us today, you are especially welcome to join us for coffee following the service in the room directly across from the church entrance off of Linton Street. The flowers today are donated by Louis Kerr in celebration of National Coming Out Day. Now we have a few words from Patty Kelly, the president of our board.
Whoa, I'm not as Carol. Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to give you a quick update about the ministerial search. For you visitors who don't know what we're referring to, our developmental minister, Dr. Alex Regal, will be leaving at the end of this church year, which is June 30th, and so the board has had to make some decisions about what comes next. So over the past 3 weeks, we engaged the congregation in conversations about the different types of ministries we could pursue, and what the board has chosen to do is go with a contract to call minister. What this means is we would offer a minister a 2 to 3 year contract that would start August 1st. And this type of ministry can, but it does not have to, lead to a call to settled ministry, which is what a regular minister is, called a settled minister. The way this works is after at least 2 years, the congregation can start discussing whether they would like to call this minister, and of course see whether the minister also feels comfortable with that. And at that point, we would go into a whole new process. The board would call a call process task force, and they would then engage the congregation in the same sorts of intense focus groups and everything that you would normally do in a settled search. And it's very important to note that if the congregation decides to call the contract minister, the congregation then gets to vote on that minister. We think that this option provides the best chance of our getting a good fit in a minister and also potentially causing the least disruption to the church. There has been overwhelming support for this type of ministry, mainly because it's an opportunity to essentially try before you buy. You get to know the minister, and the minister gets to know us, so that we feel much more comfortable. Again, if it doesn't work out, we can do another contract minister, we can do an interim ministry. It's just a flexible option. And importantly, this was the most popular search in 2025. The same sorts of candidates, there's great overlap between candidates looking for contract to call positions and for settled ministry. And if it's the option most popular with candidates, it makes sense for us to choose that for that reason as well. If for some reason we don't get matched with a contract minister at the end of March, which I think is unlikely, but if we don't, we still have time to go into the interim search. So we have the best chance of getting someone and not risking being without a minister again. It's also important just to remind you that we cannot call an interim minister to a settled position. So if the contract to call ministry works out, this would give us one fewer ministerial transition, which is better for the church because it keeps the church more stable. Regarding the search committee, we should be able to announce the members of this committee within the next few days. And please know that if you weren't chosen, or if the person you suggested to us wasn't chosen, it truly is not a reflection on the worth or ability of that person. We had to put together a balanced committee, balanced in many different ways, and we've had lots of discussions about this, and I think you'll be very pleased with the results. Now, the church will need to support the committee. It's kind of a all hands on deck sort of situation, and in a most obvious way, if there are ways we could relieve the search committee members of church duties, if they choose to. We're not going to force our help down their throats, but then if you're on a committee or team with somebody and you can help take over some of their duties, that would be really helpful. But it's also important to remember that being on a search committee is a commitment of not just the committee member, but of that person's family, if they have a family as well. I've done it twice, and I can guarantee you that is true. That places an additional burden on the rest of the family. And so I do think we need to think outside the box and think of other ways we could help support the committee, and that will include childcare. It may include, taking meals to people at really crunch times or something like that. We can all contribute something in helping this work and be efficient. The committee will be very busy between now and December, and then again in January through March. So please let me know if you are willing to be on a, buck up the committee sort of group. That would be really helpful. We have a listening session this Tuesday, October 14th at 7 p.m. by Zoom. I forgot to put it in the order of service, but you have been emailed this and the link 2 or 3 times, but I will resend it so that you are sure to have it. The topic of conversation will be what sort of minister do you want? Now, this I'm sure will not be the only time you'll have to put in input, but we're getting the conversation started. And the search committee, once it's constituted, will make decisions on what comes next as far as other opportunities for you to provide input. So Tuesday at 7 p.m., and you'll be hearing from us soon with more information. Thank you very much.
I'm taller than Patty. Is that good? Yeah. Okay. I'd like to offer some opening words before a brief meditation, after which we'll hear from Bonney. How do we move forward toward each other in love, the truth of our authentic power? Perhaps we welcome change instead of resisting it. To expand my worldview, I need to use the parts and the whole in all their majestic splendor and their messy complexity. It is an arduous commitment to fully seeing, to empathic listening that moves beyond our theories and maps into relationship building.
May I have this dance? When I deliver a sermon, I'm asking for a dance. I'm saying, I have something to say that you might be willing to hear. I have to have enough ego to think that what I say is important and relevant, but not so much that you hear, I'm the only one who knows this and you'd better listen. Instead, it's an invitation. This invitation is for all of us, me included. I am part of our beloved community, and sometimes I have to learn the hard way. My truths and insights from failures might serve you and might not, but I'm willing to be vulnerable about the relevant ones. That's our dance as I look at your beautiful selves today. I'm a horrible dancer. I never really learned because my father's church forbade it. And Kevin Bacon was not promoting dancing to church leaders like my father. However, I'm experienced at the ego dance from both sides. It's what we do to survive, right? Our ego dance today hinges on trust. I trust that you'll politely listen or pretend to listen and you trust that I'll offer a meaningful thought or two in the next 20 minutes. In a congregation, our dances vary. Sometimes what we offer is music, an opinion, ushering, committee or teamwork, making a sign-up sheet, potlucks, coordinating the AV board, volunteering in RE, leading Heart and Hand, or volunteering with the finances of the church. And each time we offer something is like asking for a dance. Will you work with me? Hear what I have to say? Will you sometimes lead and sometimes follow? Sounds lovely, doesn't it? It's beloved community. What could go wrong? You guessed it, plenty can go wrong. Are we hearing the same music for our dance? Are we in the same key with the same beat? Is it jazz or orchestral music? What if our interpretations of the song are different? Can we make that work? What if one of us doesn't show up? Then it's a solo dance, which is great, but different from a dance together. Beloved community can include each of us dancing solo, but it also includes interactions, dancing together. Beloved community to me means having a common mission and finding ways to work together to achieve that mission. It's similar to family, but you don't live together. Working together is sometimes hard because it means putting aside what I want for the greater good of the community. Uh-oh, that sounds like submission, and who wants that? The part of me that doesn't want to submit to anyone or anything, that's ego. And ego helps me survive in an imperfect world. Ego is positive and necessary. It's the natural and instinctual self that Alex reminds us of. But it can also be too much, and too much can hurt others and inhibit growth. So where's the balance? How can a bunch of wonderful, precious egos become beloved community that supports each other in its mission? It's like people stew. We're all in the pot together, but still identify as potatoes, carrots, and onions, rather than the stew we are. How can a group of UUs, who usually think for themselves just fine, thank you very much, be persuaded to dance together? If we each dance to our own beat, it's solos. And if we each have a different song or beat, it's chaos, not beloved. It all depends on our mission. In our Enneagram class, Alex taught us this. We are born perfect, and we are perfectly connected to our divine spark. In our early years, the harsh realities of our environment cause us to create an ego on top of that soft divine center, so we can survive in our harsh world. We often neglect that gooey inside. For many of us, it's our ego that tells us we are good enough, that we matter. When we let go of ego, let down our walls, we can access our neglected divine qualities like patience, love, trust, generosity, openness, curiosity, acceptance, forgiveness. What other qualities do you consider divine? These qualities never leave us, but wait to be uncovered and accessed. They are there any time we choose to let them breathe. This is self-love, self-acceptance, and very different from ego because it considers the whole person. Unfortunately, the ego is usually too busy maintaining those walls, and it's too much effort and risk to soften them, so we just keep going, keep surviving on ego. Our American culture encourages, even demands this. We become a culture of winning, perfection, and accomplishments. We become individuals, silos, doing solo dances because none of us can soften our egos and dance together. How does that work in beloved community? If we soften our individual walls, won't we become mushy and anything goes? Don't we just become a wad of squished up Play-Doh of all colors? Is this when the chunky stew becomes an ugly puree? If we have no ego to distinguish us from each other, we're all the same, right? Well, this is how I see it. We each need and want our egos to help us navigate our worlds, but we also need to be aware of when our ego should leave space for other egos. When we all make room for vulnerability, when our walls are lowered and we are still safe and loved, we create beloved. When we are vulnerable with each other and honest with ourselves, we find our divine spark, our soul at our center. Putting aside what I want for the sake of community means to lower my ego temporarily to see what others can offer. The dance of ego means to be able to choose to listen to other ideas, other stories, other talents that might better accomplish our mission of love and acceptance. If my ego always leads, the dance might be oppressive and forced, like dancing with a 2x4. When our divine qualities lead, the dance is freeing and connecting. We discover new synergy in dancing together, what we could never have done on our own. We meet our mission. How do we recognize when egos might be dominating? Here's my list, and you'll think of others. When we think there is only one choice, one hero, one truth, that's ego. When winning is more important than understanding, ego. When communication breaks down, it's usually about egos. When negative emotions are present, when we have a mindset of us versus them, when we are more reactive than responsive. Here's another list of what might be heard when a beloved community like ours chooses divine qualities instead of ego. This is my list just to start, you add to it. How can we change this together? I'm curious, are there other ideas? Can you help me understand how this will work for all of us? Who is willing to lead us in this direction, and do they need help? Is there a younger member who would like this leadership position? What truth can we agree on? What can we do differently to be a better neighbor in Avondale? Mistakes happen. Let's try a different approach. I receive a daily thought from the Enneagram Institute. One said, we might take a minute to acknowledge our personality or ego, which has been working so hard to run things and take care of everything. We thank it. Then we might take a moment to acknowledge the yearning in my heart for that which is true, to be whole and real. And with great respect and gentleness, I can allow that desire to be there like a little fire, letting it expand and touch all the parts of me as I breathe. A little fire? Another name for soul, for our true self, our divine spark. Remember singing This Little Light of Mine a couple of weeks ago? I'm gonna let my soul shine. These are things we can do as individuals to nurture our divine sparks and choose to lower our egos. But there is another phenomenon happening at the same time that's a little tricky. In his book, A New Earth, Eckhart Tolle talks about the collective ego. It happens like this. Sometimes we just can't let our egos down. It's too scary. Instead, we jump into belonging to a larger group. These groups can feel safer by expanding and strengthening the sense of self and identity. We see this everywhere: nations, political parties, clubs, sports, schools, and churches. What a relief to not feel alone. On the surface, egos seem to have disappeared in working tirelessly for the greater good. They seem to have gone beyond ego, but the question is, have they truly become free, or has the ego simply shifted from the personal to the collective? Unfortunately, these collective egos have the same characteristics as an individual ego: the need for other to be wrong and I am right, the need for more and better, the need to be in control, winning, achieving. The collective ego also has the mindset of us versus them. I've been the director of 2 public libraries. Upon arriving, I asked how involved in the community they are. They showed me their huge brick buildings with all the delightful services, then looked out the windows and waited. But they never asked the community what it needed and how the library could help. Because I was the director, I met with the mayor to ask what the town needed, and the library incorporated this in our next build. I pushed staff to engage with other community leaders, and they did some, but largely resisted my suggestions. I was not one of them, but other. They were not open to changing with the times and serving their community in different ways. This is the way we've always done it, and we've been successful, they said. They did not take the advice of my years of experience, nor the writing on the wall for libraries to stay relevant. When I left, it was still us versus them. They considered the library their own, not belonging to the community. Their collective ego was self-focused, and they did what they needed to do to get rid of me. In the wake of any ego actions, there is suffering. In this situation, their egos won, and the library suffered because it could have been so much more. I tried to help the collective become an enlightened collective for their future, and I failed. Of course, that felt personal, so I suffered, but the library also suffered by not allowing my energy to continue on their behalf. Maybe someone else could lead them to greater awareness. I submitted to their ego because that's what they wanted for their library. I hope in my wake they become more open to real change. Richard Rohr writes, "There's only one thing more dangerous than the individual ego, and that's the group ego that insists that our story is the measure of all things, and so seeks to label other stories as ignorant, dangerous, inferior. It will take us some time to resolve the human drive to exclude, to scapegoat, to judge, and to dismiss other people's stories." A collective ego, such as our church, cannot substitute for individual egos. None of us can rely only on our church's ego to create beloved community. Beloved community is individuals who can dance together, different ones leading and following, but dancing our hearts out. Yes, It involves submitting to each other on occasion. It's a submission called love, called not getting my way all the time, not being the only voice that is heard. Our church offers us the space and openness to dance, but we are all the dance. We are the divine sparks we dare to reveal. Richard Rohr asks, how do we move toward each other in love? The truth of our authentic power. Perhaps we welcome change instead of resisting it, to see the parts and the whole in all their majestic splendor and their messy complexity. How do we grow awareness of and nurture our divine sparks? Everything I read and hear says that spiritual practice is vital. Spiritual practice nurtures our souls so we can melt our egos more. Here is the essence of spiritual practice, whatever it is. Be still. Listen to your soul. Know yourself. Know your ego defenses and how to lower your ego when you choose. And I'd add, listen to Ramona when she says, get over yourself. Choose to approach persons with your divine spark rather than your ego. Yes, it's a choice that I've had to learn over and over again. My oopses and ouches teach me. Be brave and kind in asking for a dance, and be brave and kind in your response. The Enneagram Institute says, spiritual practice interferes with our deeply ingrained habits and gives us opportunities to wake up from our trances more often and for longer periods of time. Eventually, we understand that every time we engage in our spiritual practice, we learn something new. And every time we neglect our practice, we miss an opportunity to allow our lives to be transformed. The call to life is to live in right relationship, not to maximize control. Undue control deadens relationships. Fullness flows only from relationships in which all parties have age-appropriate agency. The entry ticket to every relationship is vulnerability to hurt, rejection, and loss. A truly rich life requires that we embrace this vulnerability, that we properly manage our desire for control, that we trust life. That's submission to love. I'm going to close with a video. You may have seen others like this. To me, it perfectly illustrates the dance of beloved community. It's called a murmuration. The birds are starlings who gather in the hundreds or thousands, usually at dusk, before settling for the night. It's a protective strategy that benefits them all. There is no one leader, but various birds will fly a slight tangent and then others will follow. They fly very close to each other and never crash because they are so in tune with those close to them. What we see is a beautiful dance of joy and creativity, and every starling cooperates for the good of the flock. Think of beloved community as you watch them dance. May it be so. I invite Jan Smith to come up and extinguish the chalice while I read the closing words. What has to die is our sense of separateness, because what goes with separateness is superiority. We sink to scolding and blaming. Not just are we number one, but everybody else is a second-class citizen. In reality, we are all connected, all included, all loved and lovable. When we understand that, we are beloved community, dancing.
In the hymnal. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round and round we go again. Let it be a dance.
Sorry, I jumped the gun on the closing. Let's just go for Shower the People.
You can play the game, you can act out the part, even though it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother, oh, sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice, just Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Do as I say. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is what I know. Tell me what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone. Once you tell somebody the way that you feel, you can feel it beginning to ease. It's true what they say about the squeaky wheel, always getting the grease. It's better to shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be just fine if you only will. What I like to do to you is shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Shower the people. Oh, shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. They say in every life, they say the rain must fall. Make it rain. Love, 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 sunshine. Everybody. Make it rain. Love, 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 sunshine. Everybody. Make it rain. Love, 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 sunshine. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Shower the people, everybody.